Slums of Atlanta. In the heart of Atlanta's slums, a young dreamer named Love navigates the harsh realities of poverty and violence. He rises from the rubble of his upbringing, fueled by raw talent and determination. His lyrical prowess becomes a beacon of hope, propelling him from the streets to the global stage.
Written by Y2LOVE, inspired by true events. Characters are fictional, but the memories are not. Granola Records. Chapter 1, Introduction, age 5 to 7.
The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Eleanor Roosevelt.
My eyes were focused on Atlanta's skyline. The grim smell of death was around every corner I turned. I watched as the ones I loved turned to ash mere meters in front of me. I would just walk past, hood down, minding my own business. I lived in a small 2-bedroom apartment with my mother and 2 brothers. Every day was a struggle, never knowing what I was eating for my breakfast, whether it would be Fruity Loops or some other food like bread. I never knew my mom was going through a struggle until many years later when I bought her a car and got me and my family out of Atlanta. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start from the beginning. Love, aged 5. At a young age, I realized that being famous would be something I would deem as successful. It was always my goal to get out of Atlanta's slums and move to a safer neighborhood, possibly down the road, or wherever I could afford with my money. One of my first memories was watching Are We There Yet with my brother on our mini TV. I had never watched that movie since. Growing up in Atlanta meant you had to learn fast. Survival wasn't a choice, it was the only option. The block raised me, taught me the game, showed me how to turn nothing into something. At age 5, I was already in a gang. Me and my 2 brothers and my mother, a family if you will. Age 6, I caught my first offense. I was graffitiing my bro K-Joint's crib as I didn't fuck with the yellow paint on the house. I should have just minded my own business, but the devil caught the cat of me. K-Joint's brother, K-Stay, would be the one to catch me writing my name in purple on the yellow wall. Mama told me if I was ever going to do something bad, I should tell her before. But I didn't want to. I didn't want to look like a dummy trying to call my mom for backup. K-Stay called up his bros Lil J and Payload. Payload would be the one to pull a knife on me. Luckily, my brother packed a strap in my back left pocket in case shit hit the fan, which it would. I pulled the strap out on Payload and emptied a clip into his left leg. Basically shot it off. Ran off before the cops came. K-Stay, K-Joint, and Lil J wouldn't want to be near me for the next 10 years. They didn't trust me no more after that. I couldn't think straight. Nights were restless. Daytime was itself a nightmare. The kitchen lights in the kitchen would be flickering. Felt like gunshots. Sounded like gunshots. Got into bad moods. Never wanted to cook food. Mama had to put me into check. Belt to the bum a few nights a week to get the blood pumping. Wooden spoon from the kitchen drawer to the backside. Never understood why she did it, but as I grew older, it connected. Age 7 was when I was caught by the police. In the slums of Atlanta, anything was possible. I was at the cookout with my family when a group from the north side wanted some food. Didn't know at the time, but I didn't mess with my mom. Thought she was a real fool. Mama looked distraught, like she wasn't sure what to even do. Considered it for a moment about kicking them out. But out of the goodness of her heart, gave them some grub. A few burgers and maybe a few hot dogs. Cannot remember exact. Wasn't aware of it, but north side called up their entire crew, trying to ransack my mom and extort her for more food. This was when I decided enough was enough. I locked eye contact with my mom and nodded my head. For some context, our house had a metal detector. Made sure whenever Northside pulled up, they went through it. 0 beeps. Their weapons on the counter of my kitchen. Obviously didn't want to get into a fight. Just cause mayhem and disrespect my mom in front of her children. I pulled my strap out on Northside. They froze for a second, before I started yelling. I loaded a full clip into the carpet below them. Looked like they were dancing. Fully made them sprint out the door. Mom wasn't impressed.
Benefits. Gain new respect from my brothers. About 50 plus new weapons for fam to stay strapped. Drawback. Northside didn't fuck with me. Mama got napped by them for a few nights. Tortured her, I'm pretty sure. She never told me the full story before she passed. She owed them around 100 bands for my action. Could never repay her.
Benefits never outweigh the drawbacks. Police were called. One of my homies was in the police. Little guy named Davey. Would say he was around age 20. Never made it to the 30s, that's for sure. Davey would always cop me a cookie, sometimes a donut, sometimes soda. Depended on how the day shift went. Davey never worked night shift. Northside owned the slums at night. If there was one thing my mama told me that I'll never forget, it was this.
Wanna know where Pops went? Never go outside at night. Northside owns the city at night. You see the bright lights, looks like candy. It's not. Gunshots, violence, torture, banging up the city.
Chapter 2. Davey and Donald's. Was around age 8 when I last saw Davey. He came by the crib one evening to drop off some groceries that he would always pack for my mama. Beans, toast, cabbage, the usuals. Davey would leave the crib around 5 p.m. I'd say. Gave me a hug before he said what I recall were his final words, at least to me.
We'll be seeing you later, Davey.
Davey was the type of cop that was chill. No pig shit, no fed shit. Just a tight-knit Brody who had your back. Would always access the situation with caution, trying to hear out both sides, nice cop type shit. 5 things I always remember about Davey. Hands always in bulletproof vest. Kept taser on the left leg, strapped. Always eating the pink donut on some real Homer Simpson. Favorite movie was some random movie I can't even remember, bruh. And nicest guy in the entirety of Atlanta. I don't like talking about this. It often brings a tear to my eye. Davey was Uber eating for some extra cash that night. Mikey from Northside would be the one to order the final meal. McDonald's, Filet-O-Fish, large chips, large Sprite, Oreo McFlurry. Weird meal from Mikey. Always imagined him as a Big Mac type of guy, but the weirdest will surprise you. Davey would pull up to Mikey's crib on Northside. 2 knocks at the door, a photo of the food. Started to walk away when the door opened. Our group of 12 Northsiders would be standing in the doorway checking the meal. Each one of them would individually inspect the meal to make sure it was up to scratch. Mikey made Davey stand there while they inspected. Uno would inspect the burger. Peter would put a thermometer into the fries. Hudo would taste the wok, and that night it was J-Money on McFlurry duty. If the first inspection was up to standard, they would pass it to the next 4 to inspect. Sea-Dog, Typo, Logan 2, and Tweezy were the next in line for inspection. It passed. Final 4 would inspect the meal before it was deemed ready enough for Mikey to eat. George would take a bite out of the burger, test for any undercooked slop. Passed. Figures would test the wok and replace the straw for a plastic one. Never liked the turtles. Seisha would test the fry and empty out any greenies. Pollock would mix the McFlurry, make sure it was chill. By the time I got to Mikey, everything had passed inspection. Davey was still standing there, shadow on the door. Mikey would bite the burger, chill. Have a few fries, chill. Drink some Sprite, chill. Mix the McFlurry. Unaware, but the flurry had half melted going in through the inspections. Mikey had a sip, shook his head, and unloaded the clip into Davey standing in the middle of the doorframe. Davey and Donald's. Chapter 3. Teen Years. Skip forward a few years. Was bumping some hardcore rap at school when my bro, Lil Sean, would pass me a mic. Tested some rapping skills, bumped a few jams. Put on a Wheezy type beat, tried my best and it went fire. Lil Sean owned a studio at his crib. Went there after school, listened to some underground Atlanta rappers. Tried to find my style. Lil Sean really liked me and my rapping, and his father owned a label, immediate sign to it. I was now a part of Parky Records. Shout out to Lil Sean's father, Big Riz. This is just where my music evolved. We'll always give credit to Lil Sean for getting me in this rap game. It was in my teen years when I met my first love, Diana. Diana was like a sherbet ice cream, a chocolate-covered marshmallow, a satisfying YouTube compilation. Same time, she could also be a demon, but I blocked out those memories. I was only with Diana for a year and a bit. She passed about 2 years post-breakup.
And insert how Diana died, summarized. Diana was walking home one day after school, went down the wrong road, caught astray from an ongoing warfare between the MCs and the Floridics. Pretty sure it was shot by a member from the Floridics named Tablet. Fell over on the concrete pavement. Body was found a few days later by old Granny J. Apparently she was covered in blood.
After Diana's passing, her mother would host a funeral for her down by the local river where all the primary kids would go for a swim. I'd say it was a pretty peaceful funeral. A few members hanging back. Her mom did a speech. I just hang around, pay my respects, the usual. Never would have thought that the MCs and the Floridics warfare would ruin the final part of Diana's life. Mid-funeral, a few members from the MCs who really messed with Diana were in the back near the statue. Damon, One Eye, Parker. Members from the Floridics shot some bullets at them mid-funeral. Mid-song, actually. Hallelujah was playing in the background as a warfare was amidst. They hid behind the statue. Everybody went and run. I hung back to make sure my OGs were all safe. I let Lil Sean use me as a body shield to protect him just in case anything happened. I remember my brick and Cooper hung back, protected the elders who couldn't move fast. That's how you know the real ones. We just hid behind a few pillars until the warfare settled down. Never will forget Diana's funeral. Her final memory ruined by a couple stupid-ass gang fights. That day I'll never get back. Chapter 4. Out of Atlanta. Besides that, my teen years were pretty chill. Got into a few fights, caught a few more offenses, the usual teenager stuff. Tried some hella crazy substances. Got addicted for a while but grew out. Continued making music, the regular.
This is the final chapter in this book, The Blow Up. The final year at school, out of Atlanta.
Final year of school, I met my forever bro YL. I cannot even remember how we met, we just clicked immediately. He was also into the music game. We made a few mixtapes, sent them around the school. At the time I was still with Lil Sean and Big Grizz and Parky Records, but I was soon to leave. YL had a fire producer named Russo, really messed with his beats. He collabed with Big Grizz here and there, but there was something special about Russo's beats. Me and YL made some tracks for his debut. You already know what those were. Got my big blow up, a fat paycheck through the mail. Couldn't believe it. I remember I was hanging with homeboy when mama busted through the door like a mad bull. She looked so happy, I knew it was gonna be fire. Finally copped us a house out of all the warfare and far away from any gang violence. We would move once I had finished school. Just took it day by day, looking forward to the day we could leave. It came around faster than a blink of a finger. We were out. My family was safe. I had made it big. Bought a bigger plot of land for all my OGs to stay at so they would stay. Respect to all those all. Never forget those who couldn't make it.
In memory of all the ones I lost, all the ones that I will lose, everyone in my life. This is only the beginning. Live, laugh, love. Y2LOVE.
This is a fictional story, but all the stories are true and based on Y2LOVE's life from the slums of Atlanta. Featuring Mama, K-Joint, K-Stay, Lil J, Davey, Mikey, Uno, Peter, Hudo, J-Money, C-Dog, Typo, Logan 2, Tweezy, George, Figures, Seychelle, Pollock, Lil Sean, Big Grizz, Tablet, Old Granny J, Daymond, One Eye, Parker, My Brick, Cooper, YL, Russo, Homeboy. Granola. Slums of Atlanta by Y2LOVE. In the heart of Atlanta's slums, a young dreamer named Love navigates the harsh realities of poverty and violence. He rises from the rubble of his upbringing, fueled by raw talent and determination. His lyrical prowess becomes a beacon of hope, propelling him from the streets to the global stage. The end.